One more race remains in the round of 8 to decide who will be the 4 drivers that will battle it out for the Adrenaline iRacing League Cup Series Championship here tonight at the virtual Michigan International Speedway. We're in the Irish Hills of the East of the Midwest U.S. I am Wesley Outland. Joined alongside is Samuel Dyer. Charles Wooten is in the production chair handling operations as he is still waiting to get some new groceries after a bad refrigerator. But anyhow, we're ready to go. Samuel, Michigan, this race should be exciting. One more shot to make it in. And by the way, Trenton Jump has won all races in the round of 8. And there's a 3-way tie for second across the board to decide who could be the final 4 tonight.
Yeah, I mean, those final 3 positions for our final 4 are completely wide open. Really, any driver can win this week. We know Trent Jump's got the courage and he wants to try to win and sweep the round of 8 that have the most momentum going into our championship race. But I got to say, some of those drivers that are outside of our top 4 cut line, Bronson Stafford, Logan Brakey, Joshua Altice, and Eric Stamp, they're looking hungry for a win. But it's going to be Eric Stamp, who is in a must-win scenario if he wants to make it in the championship 4. He's too many points back. As all the other drivers, they've got a shot. There might be a real, almost impossible for Altice to point his way in, but there's a slim margin for him to do it. And then everyone else, it is going to be a dogfight on who could be making it into our final 4.
This is definitely going to be a battle as we, again, let you know what's going on in the point standings. As, again, Trenton Jump picked up his 3rd win of the season, 2 in a row in the round of 8, as he won the race at Darlington and at Vegas last week. Now, Trenton Jump, we know he's going to the championship finale at Atlanta in 2 weeks. Braxton DeWeese, Tom Bourne, Shane Therian, they are tied at 30-75. And again, if they can play their cards right, you could see those drivers advance. But by the way, I don't even want to throw this out of the loop here, you know, Samuel. We were talking about just DeWeese, Bourne, and Therian tied for the top 4. You've got Bronson Stafford, Logan Brakey also in the same point total that are just 6 points back. They got a shot to go to the playoffs as well.
Yeah, both of them have been pretty consistent here. If anything, Logan Brakey, of all the drivers that have not won this season, probably one of the most consistent of them all. And I'm excited to see what this 29 team has really set up for this week, because they've got to have a strong finish here. They've had only about 3 top 5s this season. They're going to need a top 5 finish if they want a shot to point themselves in. And everyone's got to be hoping that they don't get caught up in the big one here at Michigan. Based on how this air package has come in with the new iRacing update, the drivers are going to be in packs. They're going to be close, a lot of draft heavy, and a lot of side drafting going to be utilized here this evening, where we could be seeing a big one happen, kind of like what we saw last week, where Braxton DeWeese almost had a shot to completely take himself out in the first lap of Las Vegas until we went into a long spree of green flag runs to finish out the race. But we could be seeing a lot of these drivers having early issues during this 120 lap race, and there is no fast repair. So if you blow up your engine, it is a long time to get that car repaired.
Yeah, let's take a look at the race 411. Again, it's presented by RaceOnTexas. 30-minute practice about to come to an end. Qualifying will be coming up on the racetrack here in just a little bit, and then it will be a 120 lap race, which is the equivalent of basically 200 miles here at the virtual Michigan International State. These drivers will battle it out here again at Michigan. There's a great battle going on. We will follow it for you along the way here. And by the way, the lineup 411 is presented by RaceOnTexas. Don't forget to sign up today to get a Speed Pass account for only $39.99 a month and help support local dirt track or pavement short track racing by selecting your home track. 50% off the monthly payment goes to the home track you pick each month. Sign up today at raceontexas.com. Sawblade.com weather conditions as well. To the bottom right, it is a beautiful day and the track temp is way up, Samuel. 78 degrees, ambient temperature virtually. Speed of the winds is pretty comfortable. It's only 2 miles an hour, hardly any wind blowing. 113 though, 113 degrees track temp. That's going to really be a big effect on tires.
Yeah, it's going to be making tires slick on the course, and it's going to be causing these tires to wear down faster than they would be if it was cooler. And also, been hearing from the drivers with the aero package, these cars are extremely tight in the draft. That's going to be another factor for burning off the tires, but qualifying's underway for 5 minutes.
5 minutes on the clock, off with that number 53 machine, Eric Stamp. We'll see what Eric Stamp can do, as he is the first brave soul in his Ford Mustang to come out virtually onto the racetrack. The best lap put down, Samuel, that will set the bar for what the race will be here tonight for 200 miles, 120 laps. And here comes the progressive Ford, Eric Stamp, working his way through the tri-oval. He'll come down to the start finish, and he will now be on the clock officially.
Yeah, and you're seeing the drivers out of Eric Stamp's starting high on this warm-up lap, trying to build up the speed, going the longest way around the track to get the speed up, and then he's going to stay high for this first lap, still trying to build up the speed as much as he can. And then once you get to that second lap, you're going to be seeing a lot of drivers dropping down to possibly down the yellow line, or even down a groove or two away from pace to have the best run that they can. And currently looking at how these drivers are running, I'm liking what Stamp's showing, as he was one of the faster drivers during practice. Second fastest during practice times was with the help of draft.
39.742 seconds, the opening lap for the progressive Eric Stamp. Some more drivers are on the racetrack right now. There goes Tyler Stooksbury, the Tight End Loose Off YouTube podcast, number 19. We'll see what he can do right now on the back straightaway. Hey, by the way, don't forget, this is the first of our doubleheader coverage tonight on LSRTV, your home for sim racing. For the first time in a very long time, Charles Wooten will be joining me in the broadcast booth as we go dirt track racing tonight. That will be coming up around, I believe, 10 o'clock. Am I right, producer? So it's 11 o'clock race? 11 o'clock Eastern, 10 Central. Okay, wow.
A late one.
A late one, wow.
Usually those late ones are for...
You better not have me up at 1 o'clock in the morning announcing the race now. Come on. Well, actually, we'll be doing it tomorrow night, by the way.
Yeah, Northwest.
We are going to... the Northwest Cup Series is back. That's right, yes. Adrenaline iRacing League right now tonight. Final race, the penultimate race of the season, if you will. And the championship finale might be... Well, I know they're taking off next week because of the NASCAR Cup Series event at Nashville Super Speedway. And that's actually my next obligations with NASCAR that I'll be at. And then... let's see here. Tentatively scheduled for the 27th. It might be not because of people having other obligations. But then it might be, then it's going to be off on July 4th. So July 4th might be off because of the holiday. So this championship finale at Atlanta, Samuel, might be 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, it's going to be 3 weeks, could possibly be 3 weeks from now, and that gives a lot of these drivers a shot to get themselves, you know, a lot more practice at Atlanta with the new aero package for these drivers, and also get a little bit more tuned to the setups, unless the setups get changed slightly for the drivers. So giving them plenty of time as we see Braxton DeWeese on screen for the 15.
Somehow, some way, some week, they are going to finish it up and we will decide the champion.
Yeah, I mean, they got to get the championship done because season 4 for these guys start in mid-July, so they can't push it back too far. Otherwise, They're going to be having season 3 and 4 colliding with one another.
That's exactly right. His qualifying is on course right now. There goes Braxton DeWeese, the man in the number 15. One of those drivers that are currently tied for second of a 3-way tie to advance to the championship 4. And right now, Stafford at the top of the board. Here comes your brother, Matt Dyer, the Rigid Tools number 88 machine from California. The Ford is on course.
And not able to finish out qualifying, but his first lap will be 11th.
I don't think he paid his internet bill. All that stuff I was talking about him.
Oh man, let's not talk about internet. That was a terrible last season where half the season he was blinking in and out and
Ink and blink and nod is his cousin.
Oh man.
Qualifying has concluded, ladies and gentlemen, and it looks like Bronson Stafford will be the man that's on the pole in the number 61 machine. And Samuel, that's a good thing because he's the first driver out of the cutoff in the championship 4.
Yeah, and honestly, for Bronson Stafford, I was talking with him before this race, and he was not feeling the most confident coming into this race. He's been really off of his usual dominance of trying to battle it out with Shane Terrian. So it's been really awkward to see the 61. Ever since that team of Luminary disbanded, the 61's been on kind of a down slip. But this is great to see for himself, especially a race away from the championship 4.
Starting lineup presented by Team 126 Racing here at Virtual Michigan. The penultimate race of the season for the Adrenaline iRacing League. Bronson Stafford is on the pole, a fast qualifier to the outside. Robert Kinney in the number 34 Triple S entry to the outside. Row number 2, Logan Brakey. That's that green number 29 machine to the far left. And to the outside of him, Shane Therian, one of the 3 drivers that have a shot at a tie into the championship finale coming up in Atlanta. Moving on to row 3, the man that's the number 1 seed, Trenton Jump in 46. He'll try to sweep all the round of the championship 8 races. To his outside, Spencer Hardison in the number 9. Row 4 on the grid will find Joshua Altus, the former Virginia, now Winston-Salem, North Carolina native. And to his outside, Eric Stamp in 53. Moving on to row number 5, Tanner D. Johnson, the 23, and Tom Borna make out the top 10 here at Michigan as the field begins to roll off pit road, Samuel.
Yeah, and then in 11th, we're going to be finding that of Matt Dyer, and to his outside, going to be that of Mike Tellier. In 13th, you got Tyler Stooksberry and Alex Walzer, and then behind them is going to be Caleb Smith, Braxton DeWeese in 16th. Very odd to see the 15 so far back, as he did not get his time, not the best time that he wanted for himself. And then it's going to be that of Evan Coleman, going to be our last driver, all the way back in 17th.
So there is the lineup for the drivers as they get ready to go. Race analysis again. It is 200 miles, 120 laps. This track is 2 miles. And this is it. What do you think we're going to see tonight here in just a moment, Samuel?
I'm expecting these guys to stay close, at least for the first 8 to 10 laps. Everyone's going to be staying close, drafting next to one another. And then after about 8 to 10 laps, we're going to be seeing who has really saved their tires and who hasn't. And those drivers that have been aggressive and trying to get up front as fast as possible, they'll start to drop back. And for the guys that have been saving, they'll start to move forward. Want to give note, Robert Kenny in 2nd place. He won the last time we were here last season. He's going to be one of the drivers to watch out for, even though he is not one of our playoff drivers.
Hello, Wesley, do the math. 240 miles is actually the distance. 203 miles on the 2-mile oval is 120 laps. Ready to go. Here as the field makes their way to the Geico restart zone in the starter's box, green in the air. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a virtual race, the final race in the round of 8 championship 4 at Atlanta, and we're green here at Michigan. They're in turn 1 with Stafford on the whole shot to the bottom.
Stafford did a great job getting a good launch for himself. And in the middle of the pack, Joshua Altice almost took out himself and Stamp on the entry of turn 1. These drivers got to be careful of their awareness. It's going to be difficult, but already bump drafting on the inside.
Back straightaway contact going around, couple of cars into the wall. Hardison is one of them. A couple of others. Shades of Vegas last Sunday night. Samuel, it seems like we're right back in deja vu all over again. Exiting turn 3 and 4. Calamity, and the caution is out.
Yeah, I mean, these guys were bump drafting each other, and it just was not close. As here's our replay of exactly what happened. It's going to be on the entry of turn 3, and it's going to be the 3rd car on the outside, that of Spencer Hardison and that of Eric Stamp, making a little bit of contact between one another on the entry of turn 3.
Ironically, Stamp was involved in the wreck on the opening go last week, and then a couple of other cars into the fence as well, including the 97, Everyone else on the binders, that is Mike Tellier. Mike Floppy Tellier. From another angle. Watch this.
Oh, boy. Mike Tellier going to be having a great view, and you see in front of him, that's Tom Bourne, who I believe put in the wrong scheme for this race for himself. Usually running the 54, but the 14 tonight in the FRN machine. And Tom Bourne also is going to be getting some rear end damage from this contact.
Watch this. Look, look, look. Oh. Nice little T-bone, and I don't mean the steak on the 9 of Hardison.
A lot of drivers would have wished that it was a stake instead of that contact, as that of Tellier. That is that's going to take him all race to try to get that front end damage repaired. And luckily for Hardison, it was on the side where he got a lot of that contact, pretty similar to what happened to Braxton DeWeese last week at Las Vegas. And we saw even for DeWeese, that damage hurt him slightly, but he was able to recover from himself. But we see now Caleb Smith getting out of pit road, and everyone from 7th on back, then top it off with fuel or getting damage repaired.
Yeah, we're still in the early going of this thing here, so it's kind of surprising that cars are on the pit lane.
Yeah, I mean, just feeling like getting a little bit extra fuel for themselves. The window that we're looking for a lot of these drivers, around 30 to 35 laps for pit stop. So some of these drivers thinking about, hey, we're going to be pacing, might as well top off with fuel and get back out there and hope that this race can go green, just like how it was for Las Vegas. And that could possibly help staying out for an extra lap or two and having those fresher tires.
So we are under the yellow flag after an accident that seemed just like at Vegas again, where both cars get involved, just like Vegas, just like last Sunday, the same here tonight, and we are under the yellow flag. Break, back with more in a moment. The coverage continues of the Adrenaline iRacing League finale coming up in a few weeks or a month at Atlanta. This is the final race of the regular season, or the round of 8. We'll be back with more in a moment.
Look at that!
Look how wide that deer is.
Oh my god! Oh my god! He's down! He's down!
Hold him up first, huh? You hold him up. Son, what do you think about that? Excited?
After me.
Every customer, every single time, needs to get our very best. From moment one, my goal managing a team here in the dealership is to make sure that that customer's experience is the very best that they've ever had. We expect and demand total transparency. There should never be a time in that transaction where the customer is wondering or not quite sure of what they're buying or what they're paying or those sorts of things. And having that transparency and doing things the right way is super important.
Welcome back to coverage of the Adrenaline iRacing League. The lights are off for the pace car. All-Star Saturday night at Texas. And while you're enjoying that, we have an all-star show for you with the Adrenaline iRacing League. The final race before the playoffs, a championship at Atlanta. And these drivers ready to go for the first restart in the Geico restart zone. Green flag. Kenny did not jump on the inside. The outside lane will go. And again, Stafford pulling away from the field, Samuel, as we go back to the restart in 1.
Yeah, I think that might have been a little bit of communication from some drivers, as I know that of Bronson Stafford, Shane Terrian, and Robert Kenny, they're in Discord communicating, so there could have been a discussion of, hey, you two go, and let's see if Kenny can defend the rest of the field, and just not able to, as that of Logan Brakey gets inside of the 34.
And here they come, working their way off of that corner, back to the front straightaway.
Oh boy, Tanner Johnson almost went around.
Yeah,
out of
man,
fourth.
wow. Johnson with a problem there, the 23. We'll keep an eye on him. Biggest mover of the race, Braxton Deweese, up to 7th now, Samuel, in the 15.
Yeah, I mean, Braxton Deweese, he did not have the best qualifying time. Started back in 16th, up to 7th, and it really helped having a lot of the drivers that pitted in front of him and had issues, gifting him a lot of those positions. So not having to work too hard for his tires, as right now still watching the battling between Stooksbury and Jump in front of the 15. Still slicing and dicing between themselves. Looking at the drivers right now, I mean, this is exactly what Michigan gives us. A lot of the drivers were talking about how it kind of was going to turn into a lot of single file pack racing with the tightness that the drivers are going to be feeling and that sensation. Continue to watch and see. About to be 3 wide action. Caleb Smith thinking about going 3 wide. Braxton Deweese trying to make the pass on Dyer, and in front of them, you've got that of the 5 of Altice getting by Stooksbury. Dyer now going to be sending it low, going 3 wide possibly for a chance here, and they are almost 4 wide as the 88 finding the space, but oh no, it's going to be Jump getting shoved all the way to the inside. The 46 issues for himself, loose out of the corner, got bumped out of the groove, but he still stays low as they're 3 wide again, trying to slice and dice on who's going to be as they're 4 wide now for 6th place. Looks like Wesley
3 and 4 wide. Look at this coming off the straightaway. Whoa, below the apron. And watching this go on, craziness, if you will, in 4 wide. Great racing here.
A lot of the drivers that we're seeing here are the drivers that are challenging each other for getting inside of the top 4 for the championship. I mean, you have that of Braxton Deweese in the mix of this, Tom Bourne and Altice, all trying to figure out how to slice and dice and move forward, as Bronson Stafford, Shane Tarian, they're doing a great job, as well as Logan Brakey, that are trying to stay into, you got Bronson Stafford and Logan Brakey trying to get inside of our top 4. Drivers like Braxton Deweese, he's got to start moving forward, same as Tom Bourne.
Stafford, Darian, Kenny, Brakey, Smith, top 5. And behind them is a Hornet's Nest pack of traffic where they are sticking it 2 and 3 wide. There's that 29 down to the bottom, Logan Brakey. Tewksbury, Johnson, Deweese, Walter, all these drivers all in the mix as they work their way.
We do have our first DNF of the race. Spencer Hardison has pulled it into pit road and has just called it a day for the 9 after being involved in our first caution of the day.
Tough break for Spencer Hardison, that number 9, all tore up in the opening wreck. Caleb Smith up to 11 spots, surpassing Braxton Deweese, and he has cracked the top 5, Samuel, going to turn 3.
Started in 15th place. I talked about the drivers that wanted to move up quick in the first 5 laps of us being green. Some of those drivers was like Logan Brakey and also that of Stooksbury, and both of those drivers now starting to drop back because the tire wear is so harsh, but it'll just like Caleb Smith up to 3rd place. This 12 machine is moving forward, as well as the 54 and on your screen the 14 of Tom Bourne. They're moving up quickly.
And we'll keep an eye on them as they work their way. Look at this, a little contact there up the racetrack into the wall. Tanner Johnson, 23. We'll watch him. He'll fall all the way to the back. Passed by Coleman as well. And
all
Tanner
started with
Johnson all the way from at least the top 10, now all the way to the rear there, Samuel.
Yeah, it all started with a little bit of contact from Dyer and Johnson, and Dyer coming up, giving a little bit of a door bang and putting Johnson up into the wall. Very difficult spot for both of those drivers, and this is what this package gives you. Is you're going to get tight, push up in the center of the corner. Got to hope that you got enough space and you got enough tires to hold your ground and stay in your lane.
Back straight away into 3. This time by at full speed. Couple of cars battling, getting a little wiggle there with Stooksbury. Our aerial coverage is presented by All American Pools. You see them up topside at full speed in turn number 3. And this Hornet's Nest behind the leader, Stafford. 3 wide again as they come to the tri-oval.
Robert Kenny going extremely low, and usually we want to see guys slower than that. Tom Bourne! No, Stooksbury, Dyer!
It's Tom Bourne going up and over, upside down, slams off of Stooksbury, slams off of Dyer. Big trouble on the tri-oval going to turn 1.
Tom Bourne, who was inside of our top 4 coming into this race, is now heavily damaged. No front bumper, the hood's gone, and his chances for a playoff run could be up in smoke.
Big trouble there for Tom Bourne. Implications of going to the playoffs. Sticking it 3 wide. He's the meat and the sandwich. The hot dog between the bun. Clowns to the left of me. Jokers to the right. Stooksbury and Bourne make contact. He got fishtailed. Contact off of Kenny. Up the racetrack into Stooksbury. Stooksbury got collected. A host of other cars. Your brother Matt Dyer as well. And he still continues damage rolling. We're right on board with Tom Bourne this time by.
I mean, we're going to see Tom Bourne. He's trying to follow in the tracks of the 38, and seeing that DeWeese is coming, probably wasn't expecting Stooksbury to put his nose in between Tom Bourne and the wall, and you're running so close to one another, there's always a chance of some contact being made.
If the 34 would not have been at the bottom at the wrong time, Bourne would have been okay. But when he glanced blow off the when Tom Bourne glanced blow off the 34 of Kenny, caused that problem there because it caused him to shoot back up the racetrack and collect Stooksbury and Dyer.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a ticky-tacky type of a thing because you've got for Bourne, he's seen in his mirror that he's got drivers flying on his outside and also sees Jump coming in with a head of steam that was possibly going to be thinking about forcing it 4 wide on the entry of turn 1, and just not enough space on the outside for these drivers that were playing a little bit too close to fire, and Tom Bourne got burned.
Cars are on the pit lane and service is being done. Man, oh man. What a tough break. And if I remember correctly, there is no fast repairs for this series. Am I right, Samuel?
Yeah, there are no fast repairs, so we're expecting Tom Bourne to be in there. He probably has about 10 to 15 minutes of required repairs that he needs, and then probably another 5 to 10 minutes of optional repairs that are still probably going to keep him lingering, underpowered, and needing some drivers have issues.
Suffice to say, he's probably out of a run for the championship 4.
Yeah, it is very highly that he is out of this thing. What Tom really needs is now to hope that of Shane Terrian doesn't have that great of a run, nor does Braxton DeWeese or that of Bronson Stafford or Logan Brakey. But looking at the field, I mean, there are already bonus points that have been grabbed by that of Bronson Stafford, who led a lap. And now the question is, who can lead the most laps? That's 1 point for leading the lap, 1 point for leading the most laps. Those are the only true bonus points that matter besides winning the race. But if you win and you're a playoff driver, you're locked into the championship 4.
For Luminary Racing, Bronson Stafford, the man that's out in front in that 61 Toyota. His teammate Tom Bourne for Luminary Racing just wrecked a moment ago.
Yeah, that team disbanded about halfway through the season, so they're still friends. They still communicate.
Well, they gave me a roster with this information. This is y'all's fault. I call y'all responsible. You gave me a roster with this fake news. That's right, exactly. 2 by 2 by 2, ready for the restart. Cars come down to the pit lane, and Eric Samuel will be the man ready to bring them back to the green flag in the 53 car.
Yeah, Eric Stamp going with fuel only compared to some of the other drivers out here like Bronson Stafford and those behind 4th place that went with 4 tires. A very interesting call for themselves because they do have a total of 5 sets for this race. The one they started off with, 4 in pit road, so about 3/4 of the field already has used their first set from pit road. They've got 3 more to try to space out during this race.
Understanding Whataburger's on the way to Charles' house. What is Johnny Carino's is what I'm asking. What's it? Oh, when you hear your family, it's like Texas version of Olive Garden, right? Okay, what's that? All the salad and breadsticks you could eat. Here we go, back to green at Michigan. Salad, cheese curds. Yeah, you see, you got the segue. Green salad. Oh, and look at this, man. Jump back out in front. On the restart, Trenton Jump getting around Eric Stamp, and Stamp free falling. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth in the 35.
Yeah, those fresher tires showing why they're so strong and needed here, as already our top three, some of the drivers that already went with 4 tires for themselves, Bronson Stafford, Shane Terry, and Caleb Smith, they're taking off. As Trenton Jump's trying to hold on for 4th place, but the more that he lingers back, he could be costing the field behind him a chance to stay with our top 3.
Back across the stripe, here they come, back down, Alpha 2. It is Trenton Jump out in front. Bush leading the way. And there goes Shane Therian, though. Shane Therian in that number 2 spot. Remember, there's a 3-way tie for second behind Jump to decide the championship 4. And right now, man,
yeah,
Stafford was outside the top 4. He was in 5th, but he's doing what he needs to do when he goes back to the front of the lead in 61.
Yeah, there could have been some communication made between that of Bronson Stafford and Shane Terry. Hey, let's work together. Understanding Shane Terry just needs to finish in the top 5, and he'll be locked in points-wise. And for Bronson Stafford, if he wins, he automatically locks in. And with the struggles we saw from Tom Bourne, who was able to get the repairs done, back out on track, only 1 lap down for the 54 machine. He doesn't have front bumper or a hood, and he's just puttering along, hoping other drivers have issues. But Bronson Stafford could be taking that position that Tom Bourne has dropped out of.
Car looking like a modified. Tom Bourne back out on the track, but several laps down, though.
Yeah, 1 lap down for himself, and with that being of no hood, no bumper, we know for sure that temps on the engine should be doing all right, and crossing our fingers that thing does not blow up.
He's very happy to be here.
Very, very happy.
Every effort will be made to try to finish this race, I'm sure.
I mean, this is just the cherry on top for Tom Bourne's season. I mean, he's had about 3 races where he should have won, and something just never went his way. Luck was never on the side of the 54 team, who really felt like he had a shot to win the championship this season. And what a way to go out, flipping only 15 laps into the race right before the championship 4 race.
How's that song go? How's that song go by Guns N' Roses, Going Out in a Blaze of Glory? No, that's you're that. And actually, I don't think it was Guns N' Roses either. I think it's Bon Jovi. What the hell is wrong with me? Come on, Samuel. You're supposed to help me, you know? Wait a minute. He's too young. He doesn't know what song I'm talking about.
No.
Going Out in the Blaze of Glory. I'll send you the link on the CRN broadcaster chat.
Oh, thank you so much.
Out in the blaze of glory. Bon Jovi.
Tim is not a fan of your singing.
Him is not a fan of my singing. No, he's not. You're supposed to be doing this too, you know him, okay? Who's worried about all of his rotten vegetables in the refrigerator? Stafford is leading. There's on board with Caleb Smith. 4th, and right now Samuel sits 3rd. He's trying to reel in Shane Therian, who's trying to go for the lead on Stafford out of 4.
I mean, Shane Therian right now just trying to play defensive, and then you also got Robert Kenny in 4th place. Got to figure out how to get by that of the 12, and then you'd have the 3 former Luminary teammates all in a line. And when you've got, drivers you trust in a line, and you've got 2 of them that really feel comfortable in where they're standing, because you got Robert Kenny, who's not in the playoffs. He could be as defensive as he wants. Shane Therian, where all he has to do is just finish in the top 5, and he's locked into the championship race. Both those drivers not really feeling the pressure to make any bold moves for themselves. It's Bronson Stafford, who's leading, who's got to be careful, but luckily he's in fresh air, which means he's not getting the dirty air, and that means his tires are going to be very nice as long as he can keep up a solid pace where he's not burning off his rubber. As now trying to make a pass for 5th place. That's going to be Altice in the 5, who's ducking low, but just doesn't have the pace to try to make a pass on Deweese.
Just after 25 laps in. Down the back straightaway they go. Stafford out in front, Shane Therian in 2nd. Look at Therian on the move. Trying to go after him up the outside. Look at Robert Kenny to the bottom of the racetrack. He'll carry Deweese with him and Smith. A 5-car battle for the lead. It's starting to brew up again, kind of what happened with Tom Bourne. They better kind of back her down or we're going to have a repeat.
Yeah, and here comes the 5 of Altice. He's got a major run for himself. He can do the same thing that Robert Kenny did, just send it low, but it backfired for Kenny. He almost made the pass up to 3rd, but instead of going up to 3rd, he drops back to 5th. As Bronson Stafford having connection issues for himself, he's blinking in and out. He's got to go low, and what was looking like a prime situation for the 61 has gone up in smoke as he's losing ground.
Stafford falls back to 4th. Here comes Deweese to 3rd. Grant will go to the outside, the 5-car. That's actually Joshua Altus, my apologies. Joshua Altus moving up there to the 4th position. Deweese, Smith, Shane Therian back to the lead now in 38. And he's one of those drivers that were in a 3-way tie, passing Tom Bourne. And this is what they need to do to eliminate Bourne from the championship finale.
Bourne now going to go another lap down, 2 laps down for the 54 team, and luckily positive for Tom Bourne. Tyler Stooksbury has DNF'd out of this race. That's another position for the 54.
That's right.
He just needs to make sure that the drivers that are outside of the top 4 coming into this race are not 6 positions ahead of him, and he could possibly make it into the next round.
Might pull off a rabbit out of a hat, a mulligan, if you will. Because Stooksbury is now officially out of the race. He has now officially changed to out on the scoring telemetry. He joins Spencer Hardison, who was out at the beginning of the race with a crash.
Yeah, I mean, looking at where the driver's at, Joshua Altice, he's currently running in 5th place. That actually position would not grant him into the top 4, passing Tom Bourne. And he's got to be careful as that of the 34 jumps up and almost contact made for the drivers battling for 5th place.
Yeah, here comes Robert Kenny. Down to the inside. He'll close in behind the 5 of Altus. Just coming up short. Makes that move back to the bottom. Nothing there.
Luckily for Bronson Stafford, only fell back to 4th place, but here comes Braxton Deweese on the inside trying to make a pass for 2nd.
And a gaggle of traffic as they work their way up the corner as well. Into the turn, there goes Kenny back down to the inside. That 34, the red, white, and blue machine. Ducks behind the 5 of Altus. Altus goes up to the top side now. And there you see a little bumping going on there. This is Smith. Deweese. Stafford back in the battle as well. Whatever blinking issues he had earlier, it's gone away. He's on the inside for 3rd and more.
Maybe yelling at the people in his household, get off the Wi-Fi. I need all the internet I can to try to get myself into the next round and have a chance for the championship. Bronson Stafford,
hey, you Staff,
making a chance.
For the lead. No, this is for 3rd. 3 wide. Altus below the apron, if you will. got the gap on a 2-for-1. He went after Stafford and Smith, and he'll make it work. No, they'll still hang with him off of 2, and it's Stafford pulling away in the middle.
I mean, you were right. There was a move for the lead. Braxton DeWeese made it work. He's gotten by Shane Terrian, but Terrian now going to the inside. Not a lot of help for the 15 there, as they're now side by side for the lead.
32 of 120. Lap 60 is halfway. There's about 88 to go here at the line. Still a long way to go here at Michigan. DeWeese to the lead in 15. Down below the apron. Goes up in front of the pack, and he makes it work.
DeWeese might have the best spotter out there in racing. There have been multiple times this race where he's come up in front of a driver where there really wasn't enough room, but just enough for his bumper to come up. And I'm surprised the 15 hasn't gotten turned just yet, but luckily still in this race.
Inside, Stafford for the lead on DeWeese. He's there. Smith, wingman, outside lane with him. Teammates for CEM Motorsports.
Oh, man.
And DeWeese will make it work, and he will pull away with help from Caleb Smith on the outside.
Sometimes you get some help from some odd places. I mean, last season, Caleb Smith, part of High Five Racing, made a transition to CEM, and these guys from CEM, they might not have had the best season for themselves. Started off with a high with Matt Dyer winning, and Spencer Hardison having some good runs for himself. And now you're seeing great racing back for second place. Braxton DeWeese over the offseason came up and joined High Five, and gotta say, this 15's been doing a great job for himself, but here comes the former Luminary teammates of Bronson Stafford and Shane Terrian to the inside.
And Shane Terrian putting a bump draft on the 61 of Stafford, and I thought he was going to turn him going in the turn into 1. He'll save it. He backed off.
Oh,
and there's contact, and there he goes. He saved it. He saved it. Shane Terrian saved it. He could have been going by the wayside hills here in the Irish Hills of Michigan, and he saved it on the back straightaway. What a move right there on the driver of the 38 car.
And then at 34, able to sneak his way through, our winner last year at Michigan. Now he's got to run, as well as the 5. Major surges, but still side by side for second. It was for the lead, but DeWeese got the better run, as now going extremely high at Shane Terrian.
And Shane Terrian will go to the outside lane now. Open up that door off of 2. Back straightaway. He moves back into 6th. DeWeese, Smith, Stafford right there along with Altus. There is back to 5th. There is no giving up in these drivers, and they can't actually, as we get ready to put 1/3 of the way through, you can't give up now. This is the last race to decide the championship for Samuel. You got to put it all on the line tonight here at Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, you got Braxton DeWeese that was already inside of our top 4 coming into this race. He's trying to just secure himself with a win. Joshua Altus, he might have to get a win to get in with how well Bronson Stafford's been running, because currently, if they finished out where they're running currently, it would be Bronson Stafford knocking Tom Board out and coming into our final 4. But they are still, I mean, we're not even at halfway. These drivers have not been letting up on one another.
No letting up whatsoever, as you said. Here comes Smith on the inside of Stafford. DeWeese up the racetrack. Trying to block the inside and the outside lane is Braxton DeWeese in 15, and he is scary good at doing it, Samuel.
Yeah, I mean, DeWeese, he's looking to get his second win this season for this team. His last win was back at Iowa during the round of 12. And right now, DeWeese needs to get the momentum if he wants a shot, because a lot of talk coming into the championship race, as that date is still to be determined. A lot of people are saying Shane Terrian's the odds-on favorite for the championship, but still, DeWeese and Jump, those are very strong contenders to try to really dethrone Shane Terrian, who's trying to become a back-to-back championship winner.
And And I would also say don't count out Stafford, man. This car number 61 has been strong. He's playing his cards perfectly right now. He's got such a strong car. I mean, you literally saw him bump draft to the 12 of Smith. He literally had to back off because if he wouldn't, he would have pushed them both into the wall, pushed them in the corner. That's how strong his car is right now.
Side by side once again, the battling for second and for that fourth place. Shane Terrian, massive run. He might be thinking about going 3 wide with the run he had.
Here comes Shane Terrian back in the battle again. Remember, he had got spun or lost control on his own on the back straightaway, and he saved it. 1/3 of the way through here at Michigan. Deweese, Smith, Stafford. 1, 2, and 3. Altus is there. Shane Terrian is in 4th and 5th. There's your top 5. Kenny, Coleman, waiting in the weeds on the outside. They're starting to reel him in as they make it now a 7-car battle, if you will, for the lead. Are you kidding me? Here at Michigan off turn 2.
Bronson Stafford's getting close. He's trying to sneak his way in between the 15 and the 12, but gets some help from the 5 with the draft help from Maltese. Here comes Bronson and Stafford with a surge to try to go for the lead, but they're still side by side through 3 and 4.
2 by 2 by 2, like Noah leading the animals to the ark, and then somebody's going to jump out of the inside lane and make it a 3-wide battle. Altus slips in the middle as Shane Terrian crossed the line 3 wide behind the leaders. 2 by 2 going to 1.
Altus just needed a little bit more help, maybe some draft help, and he would have been able to possibly make it 3 wide for the lead. But there's communication being made from our front 2 of Deweese and Stafford. The last time through 3 and 4, Stafford did come up. There was slight contact between those drivers, and it looks like Stafford just communicating, hey, my tires are starting to wear down. Can't hold my line as well. Sorry for the little bit of a bump. As now 3 drivers coming to pit road. Breaky, Jump, and Stamp all coming in and trying to get service done this early on.
Green flag pit stops underway. The progressive Ford is Stamp is in. Jump is in, as we had mentioned, who's won both races. And the 29, Logan Breaky, those 3 cars. Green flag pit stops. Jump gets in front of Breaky. Stamp has got to get on the binders as well as they race to the cone. That is on pit lane. We'll keep an eye on that as here comes the field. Green flag pit stops possibly underway on lap number 43 to 50. Well, that goes on. The battle continues to the back straightaway to 3.
Yeah, I mean, all of those drivers really putting in great work for themselves, those drivers that just came into pit road. It's kind of an undercut. Usually we will be seeing these drivers going anywhere from 30 to 35 laps on tires and fuel, which that's going to be within the next 3 to 5 laps when we're going to be seeing these front runners coming into pit road.
Between lap 43 to 70, now lap 44 to 70, I think we're going to see green flag pit stops. We're going to see these guys come into the pit lane and have work done.
Just got word 37 laps is the run for these drivers fuel-wise, so that's going to be in about 10 laps when we're going to be seeing drivers coming in. So around lap 53, we're looking for the drivers that are going to stretch it as far as they can go coming into pit stops.
Don't forget, we're dirt track racing tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central on LSRTV. Haven't done a dirt track race since, honestly, the Cup and Truck on dirt at Bristol. But that's technically not a dirt race. So,
well, I mean, it was dirt. It kind of counts.
Yeah, but it's not dirt late models or dirt modifieds or street stocks. So, yeah.
It's not the guys that have been doing it and they know how to get it done. And excitement for sure. I'm excited to watch that race tonight.
It'll be a fun one.
It certainly is.
And then we're back to it again after a nice little 3-week hiatus as they go 3 wide in the middle. Altus, after a nice holiday break, the Northwest Cup and Truck Series presented by the Tom Denchel Automotive Group. Hermiston Chevrolet, Buick, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, GMC are back action again. And that will be tomorrow night at, I believe, Long Beach.
Oh man,
And we'll also be debuting the Hype Series for the American iRacing League Short Track Series tomorrow night as well. Yeah,
Monday night short tracking. Oh yeah, the short track series was a blast to see. I mean, all the different racetracks you really don't get to see very often because everyone's going to all the stock car courses, 1.5 miles, 2 miles. Seeing those short track guys, it is a fun time to see them wheeling around those short tracks.
I like the short tracks, and it kicks off, by the way, the summer series. There's a 5-week summer series that will be live on LSRTV as well as on CRN Sports. That will kick off next Monday night, I believe it is. Next Monday night from South Boston Speedway. And that is the CMO Screen Printing Supply Incorporated modified super trucks and super late models. Those will be the races that run. I think there was a talk about wanting to do something with the modifieds, and I think they backed out on it. But the trucks and the super late models will happen. We like the super late models, right? We like them.
Oh, we love them. Super late models. Drivers really have to focus on their throttle placement, where they're going to go. Oh boy, here goes what fresh tires look like. Trenton Jump flying through the lead pack.
But remember, Trenton Jump is the lap down.
Trying to get himself unlapped, so if a caution does break out, I mean, currently he is the first car 1 lap down. Got to be careful as a lap machine. Don't want to be taking out any of these lead lap drivers, but
and
for
Samuel, I'm surprised, man. I actually thought these guys in the front would have already pitted by now. They're calling my fib, man. They're still out in front.
Yeah, I mean, if this race goes green, it looks like the drivers will have to turn this race into a 2-stop course. So a lot of them aiming towards lap 53 to be this time that they're going to be coming into pit road, and then stretch it out to around lap 90 to make their final pit stop. That could take them to the end of this course. So there's a little bit of laps there that you can make some buffers if you want a short pit. But man, it is going to be everyone very close before the drivers that came in already about 8 laps ago. Trenton Jump, Logan Brakey, Eric Stamp, and then also 4 laps ago, that of Mike Tellier. They're going to be having to worry about did they pit too soon to be able to stretch it as far as everyone else.
Interesting. Interesting. We will keep an eye on it. As we watch them come through the front straightaway here. By the way, we are about 10 laps to halfway in this race as well.
I mean, halfway, right around the corner. This is giving flashbacks and a little bit of deja vu of last week when these guys had that for lap 1 caution, and then we were green all the way through. If we're going to be seeing a caution, it might be happening around here for 4th place, as still those drivers that were a lap down, like Logan Brakey, cutting their way through the lead lap pack, which is a very chaotic stint because you don't know who's going to be giving space to those lap cars and who's just going to be running their lane.
Understanding Tom Bourne is back on the pit lane.
Yeah, I came in about 3 laps ago and trying to get service done for the 54 and understanding, hey, he's probably going to be a lap down and not going to be able to gain any time. So he's going to come in, try to get as much repairs done as he can, and then get back out there on track and try to just finish out this race. But his championship hopes of trying to make it for Atlanta to have a shot for the championship, it is looking not so great for that of Tom Bourne. Oh, high five now into pit road. That of Braxton DeWeese and Joshua Altice into the pits for the 15 and the 5.
So green flag pit stops just after lap 50 underway here.
For these drivers, it's giving them a slight buffer to work with as they're going to be able to stretch this thing a little bit further, as Matt Dyer also coming in with the 88. He was slightly involved in our first caution, and so he's going to have to deal with some of that damage for himself, and also that of Tanner Johnson coming into pit road.
Stafford, Therian, Kenny, they're all on the pit lane. Green flag pit stops, and now Caleb Smith cycles around as the leader. 5 laps to halfway next time by. Trenton Jump is back on the lead lap.
Yeah, I mean, you're starting to.
Yeah.
What's interesting with these pit stops is you're seeing drivers that are either a part of teams or formerly a part of being teammates coming in as groups of 2 to 3, trying to stay as a slight draft partner, because if you can tango with another driver, it's going to help you a ton to keep up your pace. But Caleb Smith, too hot on the binders, locks up his tires, and I think he got caught speeding, which is also going to be hurting the 51.
Wow. The 12 might be getting a penalty, the number 12 for CEM Motorsports. We will keep an eye on that to see if there's any further penalty on the 12. We are thinking that there will be.
I mean, he came flying in a little bit too fast. I thought for a second there he was actually going to miss the pit box and go into the grass. And he locked up the tires, got sideways, but he was already past the line, and he's still in pit road. He got caught speeding. He'll be in there for another 30 seconds, which will be putting Caleb Smith most likely a lap down, if not 2 laps down, when he can finally get back out there on track.
Smith being held and penalized, and we had a feeling it was coming. And this cycles back around to Trenton Jump as the leader. Wow. A 1-minute penalty on pit road, do you think?
No, it was a 45-second penalty. So he came in, got his service done, and then the penalty was being served for himself.
Gotcha.
So he had to stay out there a little bit longer, currently a lap down. Luckily, he came in as the leader, and everyone else was trying to catch up to him. So it didn't hurt him as bad, and is the only car 1 lap down. So if a caution does break out, it should be giving him that lucky dog position. Oh boy. Well,
Keeping an eye on him. Here we go.
Bryson DeWeese came in a couple laps sooner than the rest of the main field that came in, and you're just seeing the difference in pace. 12 laps earlier, that's when Trenton Jump came into pit road. That's what 12 lap fresher tires shows you between 2 drivers. Braxton DeWeese to the point. And Wesley, I'm looking at DeWeese. He's got a lot of pace, but he's got that of Robert Kenny, Bronson Stafford. They are coming with a head of steam as well. With Altice, you thought maybe he could stick with that of Kenny and Stafford, but I don't know if he can. And the driver, I'm surprised, got held. Might have had some damage. He did have damage. Shane Terrian stayed on pit road to get damage repaired. He's back in 10th place when he was battling for the lead earlier.
That's right. Coming up on halfway, by the way. And DeWeese again cycles back around as the leader in the 15. Understanding that Trenton Jump last pit stop was only under 9 seconds, which suffice to say, thinking was a fuel stop only. He did not take on tires. That's why everybody's flying by him like a sitting duck, honestly, Samuel.
Yeah, I mean, even if he took 4 tires, he would be really still as slow as he is now. So Trenton Jump went with a risky call, hoping that him taking just fuel would work out. I think he was also expecting there to be a caution so that he would have an extra set over everyone else. This has not worked out for Jump himself, as still being passed back to 6th place currently and bound to lose even more positions, but luckily has the tail end of the draft of our top 5. Should keep him close for just a little bit here, but Evan Coleman, the 51, he came into the pit road with Caleb Smith. He had to evade the 12 when he got locked up. Currently now battling for third place and soon to be 2nd.
And halfway next time by.
Now passing Tom Bourne, who had his issues for the 14 on screen, 54 on our ticker. Tom Bourne, this was not the way that he wanted the last race of the round of 8 for himself to go. He was started this race inside of the top 4. And looking at where he's at now and where the other drivers are outside trying to take his spot, Bronson Stafford in second place would take that position from Tom Bourne. And right now, this has got to be demoralizing just to watch your competitors racing by you when he never even had a shot. And it wasn't even his wreck. He just got involved in it later on. And it's got to be so frustrating just seeing your race go away when it wasn't your fault while you were caught up in the mess.
Louis Stafford, Ullman now in third. Kenny, Altus top 5, just after halfway. Jump, Brakey, Stump, Pellier, and Therian, your top 10. Things starting to settle down a little bit after an intense opening 50 laps here at Michigan. Samuel.
Yeah, and this is kind of what green flag pit stops do, is drivers making mistakes on pit road, deciding to go with repairs, others just being caught with penalties or just being a little bit timid on entry or exit of pit road. And that's going to be giving us these gaps. And when you're not grouped up, not having the draft, it just makes you lose more time. And that's why we're starting to see this lead group, just a total of 4 drivers from second back to 5th. And also trying to stay attached is Tom Bourne. It's Braxton DeWeese. He's done a great job for himself trying to stay up front in front of our pack here. But DeWeese, the difference is now less than a second. Once we see Bronson Stafford within 0.6, he'll then have the draft of the 15 and expecting to see the change for the lead to happen within the next 3 to 4 laps.
It's been a while since we've gone to commercial break, so we're going to go side by side so you don't miss the thing as right now. Deweese is the man leading the way. Let's take a look at your sawblade.com top 5. There they are. A lot of implications on the line in the final race, the penultimate race of the Adrenaline iRacing League before the finale at Atlanta. Back with more in a moment from Michigan LSRTV, your home for sim racing.
We're based out of West Monroe, Louisiana. We do custom t-shirts, racing. We'll do any shirt. We'll do schools, churches, fundraisers. We do a ton of event shirts, as you can see on our board here, all around our banner. Personalized, I mean, we do anything. It doesn't matter to us. We got the custom rugs. We use all the, top quality shirts, inks and everything. Hoodies, hats. We do embroidered hats, embroidered shirts. Just you can call us for anything. We do offer the bag and fold to where you can receive them and they're already labeled and tagged and bagged, ready to give out to your customer and stuff. So you can just call us and just tell us, hey, this is what we're looking at doing. And if we're going to put the car on there, it is 125 quantity minimum. If it's without the car, it's 60 quantity minimum. That's strictly on the racing stuff. If it's a business or something, if you race on Texas shirts, it's a little bit differently. You can call us. It just depends on your quantity and ink color. Everything is hand drawn. I mean, everything. We don't Photoshop anything onto a shirt or anything like that. Everything that we go through, everything is drawn, and which is the reason for the art fees. We do have several graphic artists that draw for us, and they're really good. So what we do is on any package that you do, we can mix and match. We can do any colors. You can do purple, red, blue, green, and do the rest black. It doesn't matter to us. With your design on there, we can do hoodies. We can do hoodies, long sleeve shirts, t-shirts, tank tops. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's almost limitless what you can do, and you can put all that together in that package to make that minimum requirements. They can call us 318-278-7191, or they can email us at bulletprooftees@yahoo.com, or they can go to the website bulletprooftees.com.
Back here at Michigan, and just after halfway here in this race, working now lap number 67 of 120 laps. Samuel Dyer, Wesley Outman, Charles Wooten in the production chair. We are the broadcast crew for the Adrenaline iRacing League ultimate race of the season. And if you do not know what the word penultimate means, it means to last. Did you know that, Samuel?
The second to last?
Yeah, the penultimate race.
Yeah.
Oh, him is getting angry again.
I don't know what form of him I like the most. I don't know if it's him when he's eating food or him when he's grumpy. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, remember the time that he, no, you weren't with us at the time.
I wasn't.
He glued his fingers during the broadcast. He said, Wesley, you won't believe this.
I think that was around the time that I was watching the races instead of being up in the booth.
He's like, Wesley, you got to cover for me. I'm like, for what? Go to commercial. I can't move my fingers. And according to him, he actually was literally like pressing his feet on the keyboard to try to press buttons and change buttons and stuff. So I don't know if that's true or not, but I was told that's what he was doing. So yeah.
I mean, credit for trying, at least.
Hey, look, when all else fails, fresh tactics.
Oh, man. Well, I guess since everyone's so spread out, I mean, we could do a quick rundown of where the drivers are at.
Oh, we're just happy to be here.
We're here so we don't get fined.
We can do that. Let's go ahead and give you a, if you will, excuse me, a rundown of where everybody is at. Of course, right now, you see the 61, Bronson Stafford, a couple of hiccups along the way. But he looks really, really strong right now. And again, he's on the outside of the golf. He's doing everything he needs to do to put himself in the championship finale at Atlanta. He leads right now, Samuel.
Yeah, I mean, Bronson Stafford, like you stated, doing everything that he needs to do. Coming into this race, only had one win. And that was back at Auto Club for the second race of the season. It's been a long time since we've seen the 61 in victory lane, as he's also had 12 top 5s, 16 top 10s. Probably one of the most consistent drivers that we've had all season long. I mean, the only other driver close to that would be, excuse me, I was looking at the wrong driver. I was looking at Trenton Jump, who's been dominating. Bronson Stafford, he's actually had 10 top 5s, 14 top 10s, and the last time that we really, for Bronson Stafford, he's been wanting to get more wins for sure, but recently in the past about 6 races, it just has not been well for himself, but good to see him up front.
So good run there for Coleman, as you just mentioned. Also, the 34 car, Kenny. Kenny right there in the 3rd position. They had a little craziness at the beginning of it, but once things have settled down, he is sitting comfortably in that number 3 position. So keep an eye on Kenny in that 3rd spot. Whenever it's time to go, he can possibly be an upset victor.
Yeah, Kenny, last time that we were here at Michigan, won this race. And then in 4th place, you got that of Joshua Altice, and that 5 machine coming into this race 11 points back from Tom Bourne, but also had to worry about the other drivers in front of him points-wise of Logan breaking Bronson Stafford. And if Stafford wins this, that's taking away a chance for Altice. Altice currently trying to make a pass to move up to 3rd place, but just doesn't have the momentum or the draft help to get it done. But his teammates certainly trying to help. That's Braxton DeWeese in 5th.
So again, we're watching Stafford, Coleman, Altus, Kenny, DeWeese, we just mentioned. There's your top 5. So let's pick up Trenton Jump in that 46 machine. He looks good so far. And honestly, at one point, he was making a rally to the lead, but since then, he's kind of settled back in 6th. Nice nice, comfortable run right now, Samuel, for Trenton Jump. Again, already knowing whatever happens as he comes down to the pit lane for an unscheduled pit stop, or maybe this is a green flag scheduled pit stop. I don't know. But regardless of what happens at Michigan tonight, he knows he's going to Atlanta in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe a month to race for the championship.
Yeah, that final race at Atlanta still to be determined which day it's going to be. As the admins have called it, they want to make sure that all the drivers in our top 4 battling for the championship are there for a shot to win. But Trenton Jump, this was a scheduled stop for himself. He pitted extremely early compared to the rest of the field, and it put him so off pace and off track of everyone else that he is forced to make an extra pit stop over the rest of the field, which, especially here at a 2-mile course, you can't make an extra pit stop. There's just not enough time to make up all that ground on the other drivers.
Oh, wow. So suffice to say, he might just himself in a bad spot for the finish of this race.
Yeah, I mean, for Jump, like you stated, he's already locked in. He's won the last 2 races, and so already pushing his ticket into the championship 4 race. So he could try all these very odd chances of making a quick jump or just trying something different from everyone else. But if this race stays green, this strategy was a complete bust as we continue to watch the battle that's going on for second place.
Back straightaway into turn number 3. Deweese and Coleman. Stafford is the leader, the 61 car.
Starting to see why Michigan is it's very similar to Auto Club in a way, where drivers have to worry about their tires and also have the threat of the draft giving the drivers behind you a shot to make some passes. But
that's right,
you saw it there. The dirty air for Evan Coleman is just so rough that he can gain up on the 61 on the entry of the corner, but because he has so much dirty air, it just makes the car plow through the center, or he just climbs up the track and just isn't able to really secure a great shot to make a pass. He's got to pick a different lane, then follow in the tracks of the 61, because it's just going to make him wear his tires out even faster than what it was before.
Back to the corner. Stafford leads them. Single file. Lap traffic is in the way, by the way, for the leaders as they work way off 2. You see that lap? That's, I believe, Tanner Johnson. And Johnson will move to the outside lane. Have at it, boys.
Given plenty of space and trying to stay high with the new iRacing update that has come in. It's actually took what the new draft model that was on the super speedway tracks for the cup cars for the past couple of weeks. It's now transferred that same aero package to all of the race courses. So here at Michigan, making the dirty air a little bit stronger, as well as side drafting a factor and a great way to try to make passes when you're on the straightaways or utilizing the draft. As more drivers coming into pit road, Logan Brakey just got done with his service. One of our drivers trying to get into the top 4 and battle for a championship, not looking too swell for himself, and as well that of Mike Tellier and of Eric Stamp, both coming into pit road.
So green flag pit stops continue.
I mean, for me, I had it marked down. The drivers were aiming for a lot of those that are up front in the top 10. A lot of them aiming for around lap 85 to that of 90. Around those spots is when the drivers are going to be making their final pit stop. For that of Trenton Jump, he's going to have to stretch it out and possibly come in for a splash and go with about 10 laps to go, as he's going to be 10 laps short. That's still hard battling for second place. Deweese looks like he might have finally found the pace to try to get by the 51 of Evan Coleman.
I think he has.
Factor are the drivers that are a lap down. Fresh rubber. Here comes that of Jump and Johnson, who could be trying to who's going to be moving up to second place?
Keeping an eye on them as they work their way back around the corner.
Still side by side is out of Jump and Braxton DeWeese. Jump on those fresher tires, trying to gain and put himself back on the lead lap, as well as Tanner Johnson behind in the 23. He'll start trying to make the pass here as there goes Jump, forcing Bronson Stafford to go a little bit higher than what he was before, which is giving ground to Evan Coleman and DeWeese to try to make a charge on our leader again. But a little bit of a tow from Jump now to Bronson Stafford.
You're right.
Wesley, just heard from the drivers. Some of them are struggling to stay focused. Some of them starting to feel a little bit of a lull because of how long that this race is. 120 laps, and we've been green for almost over 80 laps of this race. Some of the drivers feeling concerned that they might be feeling a little bit of a tiredness coming over them. Fatigue could be a factor coming to the end of this race.
Gotta wonder if fatigue settling in for these drivers, getting a little tired, as you were talking about.
And they're only an hour into this race, but when you're green this long, not a lot of action happening, it certainly can ensue these guys. As you see the 5 of Altus getting service done. This should be his final pit stop of the day, as this is right inside the window of you undercutting the rest of the field to make your final stop. So the 5 is good to make it from here on out. All the other drivers, Logan Brakey, Eric Stamp, Mike Tellier, also that of Trenton Jump, they could be just about a lap to a lap and a half short for making it to the end. For Jump, though, he is about 10 laps short. He is in a must pit scenario for that of the 46.
Well, and you got to wonder as well, who's coming down to the pit lane? Green flag pit stops. Are we going to see that again? Remember, we've only had 2 yellow flags in the opening 30 laps of this race, as a matter of fact, Samuel. So, I mean, again, Stafford has just ran away with it.
Yeah, I mean, ever since he's gotten the lead, he's utilizing that dirty air, running right in the middle lane. 2 grooves off that yellow line, exactly. I mean, Michigan, yes, you've got about 5-6 grooves to work with, but that spot that Bronson Stafford's running, 2 grooves off the yellow line, that's the preferred lane to be. It's a sweet spot for the drivers where you're able to really save your tires, at the same time be the fastest that you can be, because you can run down to the yellow line, but that's going to be burning off a lot of your rear right tire. And then if you run a little bit higher than that, overall, again, you're going to be burning off your tires a lot harder because you're getting back on the throttle sooner, and it could be just putting a little bit too much wear and tear. As you're starting to see, DeWeese, he's falling back, could be setting himself up to come into the pit road.
We'll keep an eye on him as Coleman, I got to say as well, you know, Samuel, Evan Coleman having a really good run tonight. He's doing good.
Yeah, I mean, Coleman showing up. He had a little bit of a hiatus from the Adrenaline iRacing League for most of the season. Comes back last week, had a strong run for himself there. And once again, I mean, you got to be thinking, what if Evan Coleman showed up for every race this season? Maybe the 51 would have been one of the drivers we'd be talking about with a chance to make it into our final 4. It's more drivers into pit road. The 38 and the 88 now come in. Also, DeWeese coming in for pit road.
DeWeese on the pit lane, money stop time, if you will, but under 30 laps to go here at Michigan.
For our leader, Bronson Stafford. I believe he can still go for another lap and a half, possibly 2 laps for himself. And for Evan Coleman, for sure, another 3 laps for the 51 because he's been in the draft of Bronson Stafford, so he can go about a lap further. Question is, does he want to push it a lap further? Because having a draft partner really helps you to stay close, running fast laps. Draft very important early on in these runs. It also could cost you on your tires if you're that car in the back because of that dirty air and the tight sensation you feel later on in a run. Bronson Stafford looking poised to be the next car joining our top 3. We already know Tanner Johnson's locked in. Dane Darian, one of the drivers that I'm worried slightly about because, like we stated at the top of the broadcast, 2nd through 4th in points, all tied with 6 points apiece as our front 2 into pit road this time by.
Coming up on 30 laps to go here next time around, and green flag pit stops, as you see, are happening. Stafford, the leader, comes in. Coleman comes in. They're 1 and 2. Kenny comes in. He's in 3rd. Cycle back around to the leader. Braxton Deweese in the 15. He played his cards right. He just pitted a couple of laps ago, Samuel.
Yeah, I mean, Deweese still hasn't gone out there just yet, but certainly we're expecting the 15 to take the lead and be cycling there. The only driver we're left to finish off this green flag pit stop is Caleb Smith, who's going low, and they'll be finishing this off as we are now entering the final quarter of this race. Been a long one, 91 laps, but we are almost done with this thing.
Remember the last time Caleb Smith came down on the pit lane? He got penalized. Got to make sure he hits his marks tonight. Well, kind of overshot his pit box just a little bit, had to back up just a half of a second or 2 seconds he lost for doing that, Samuel, but no harm, no foul. He continues on with his pit stop.
Yeah, with the penalty that Caleb Smith was given, it's kind of him just running laps at this point, needing a caution to get back onto the lead lap. And it's not looking great for the 12 driver that was looking strong, battling for our top 3 positions early in this race before got caught speeding. And now it's going to be a tall task for himself to hope for a caution to come out. But as that's going on, Braxton Deweese pulled out to a 4.4 second lead over Bronson Stafford, Evan Coleman, and Altice that are all in the line. You also can throw in that of Logan Brakey that are close, but with the tire difference, Evan Coleman, Bronson Stafford, they just pull away with ease over the drivers that they just had to go past.
Well, we looks like everybody has cycled around to the pit stops. Stafford and Coleman hang with one another. And they're only, 3-4 seconds back to Braxton Deweese, I believe?
Yeah, 4 seconds back is Bronson Stafford. So still a lot of work to be done, but currently running about 0.3 faster than the 15. And that's expected to equal out for at least another 8 laps or so. So still plenty of time for Bronson Stafford and Coleman to gain time on the 15, who currently is all on his lonesome with no draft help in front of him or behind him.
So we are going to take a final break. When we come back, we will take you to the finish here at Michigan. As right now, everyone is running down Braxton Deweese in the number 15, looking for his opportunity to punch his ticket with a win here at Michigan to go to Atlanta. Saw Blade top 5, top left of the monitor. Extended commercial break. When we come back, we will take you to the finish. We'll break in if something happens, but right now it's pretty much Deweese leading the way here at Michigan.
Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, right? Our Ram trucks, truck of the year, amazing trucks. We have fun Jeeps, and then the exciting Dodge and Chrysler products. Lots of performance there, lots of excitement there. They've done a great job in really creating a full scope product line that could suit everybody's needs. Whether it's a family vehicle or a fun vehicle or a utility type vehicle or a big truck, we've got it all for our customers.
Down the stretch they come with under 25 laps to go. Samuel Dyer, Wesley Outland back up here with you. Coverage of the Adrenaline iRacing League. And after a sample of green flag pit stops to cycle around that could be the money stops, we are set for the finish. Battle for second. Here comes Coleman, sizing up Stafford for that spot. Back out of turn number 2, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, right now, both those drivers, you think Evan Coleman's trying to make the pass here. If he can make it, he'd be the lead car trying to catch up to Braxton DeWeese. And under caution, these two have done a great job catching up by over a second and a half over Braxton DeWeese. And they're hoping at least by in the next 10 to 15 laps to be right on the bumper of the 15, which could put them at equal footing. And it's going to be a drag race between those three drivers on who's going to win this thing, because it's only between those three. Braxton DeWeese already was inside of the top 10 coming into, inside of the top 4 coming to this race, trying to be inside of the championship 4 to win. Next week, in 2 weeks for these guys, or whenever the championship 4 race is at Atlanta, because we still do not know the exact date for that. Bronson Stafford, he was outside of our top 4 coming to this race, but certainly has shown pace all race long. Evan Coleman, he's just trying to be spoiler tier tonight for anyone else that's trying to get a win.
Race on Texas Saw Blade, under 20 laps to go here this time by. And I'll tell you what, Samuel, again, DeWeese doing what he needs to do. And I would say also Stafford is doing what he needs to do to advance into the playoffs. Tom Bourne, Shane Therian, I think it's going to be a close decision of who gets in and who gets out.
Shane Therian, he's doing everything in his power, running in 6th place, exactly what he needs to do. He led a lap, so that's a bonus point that goes to the 38. So that is very important for himself, as we had entering this race Braxton DeWeese, Tom Bourne, Shane Therian, 2nd through 3rd in points, all tied with 6 points over that of Bronson Stafford and Logan Brakey, who are also tied outside of our top 4. So a lot of complications. We were wondering how they were going to come through for this race, but currently Shane Therian's doing exactly what he needs to do, run in the top 5, top 6 area, and he'll be moving on to the next round. But for Bronson Stafford, Logan Brakey, both of them inside of the top 5, but for Logan Brakey, he's just a little bit too far back to even have a shot to beat out that of Bronson Stafford.
DeWeese, Stafford, Coleman, right now 1, 2, and 3. Altus and Brakey top 5. Therian, Kenny, Jump, who we know is already in Atlanta's finale. Dyer, your brother, has come back into the top 10. He's in 9th, and Walter's also there in the top 10.
Alex Walter, for that group of drivers, they got to be loving this type of racing action and the mix of things with Altis and those. First car 1 lap down, so if a caution does come out, he would get the lucky dog, and he's right now racing Caleb Smith, who is in 11th. And Caleb Smith and Alex Walter, they have been bickering at each other all season long. The 63 and the 12, a long-standing rivalry, and right now both of them have to battle back and forth to see who's going to be in the position for a lucky dog position.
2 will be there at the end.
Another driver into pit road, trying to get some service done for themselves. Mike Tellier hard into the wall. Same thing for Eric Stamp about 6 laps ago for the 53, who got into the outside wall, almost brought out a yellow about 5-6 laps ago, and had to come into pit road. Had about 60 seconds of repairs, about a minute of repairs for himself, and then had to get back out on track. Currently 2 laps down for the 53. Still has some damage for himself. Same thing for Mike Tellier. Hard damage for himself. Just a lot of woes for some of these drivers that are outside of the top 12.
A lot of woes, a lot of ifs, a lot of what will happen here as we approach under 10 laps to go here in a couple of more laps. Watching them work their way to the line. Deweese is the man out in front. There he is. Off of turn number 2. In his own little world.
Well, it's been nice. He's been all on his lonesome for a bit here, but now he's got to be concerned because Bronson Stafford, Evan Coleman, they are less than a second almost inside of the draft of Braxton Deweese. And Deweese, you got to be hoping that he was saving those tires, waiting for this March, as these guys are now within 15 laps to go, and our top 3 are about to be fighting for the lead. Oh no!
Whoa!
Deweese, contact with Mike Tellier!
And losing the lead is the number 15. Stafford back to the lead with 15 to go. Car 15, no caution, but he about got wrecked by the 97.
Absolute contact, as here's your Pulse Poppers instant replay. The 97 and the 15, our leader, makes contact with the lap machine that was coming with a head of steam on himself.
And this is all on, well, I can't really tell. Well, whoa.
He thought he was clear
I
and
thought
wasn't.
He was clear. I think he thought he was clear, and he turned and just got up in the fence with him, and luckily nobody got wrecked. Tellier got more damage than Deweese did. I think Deweese is okay.
I mean, Mike Tellier needs to get Braxton Deweese a spotter, because that's the same thing we've been seeing Deweese do all season long, but this time for Tellier, it just didn't work out. And that is the risk of trying to cut in front of someone else after making a slide job move. And it just did not work out for the 97 over the 15. And Deweese now back to 3rd, giving Bronson Stafford up to 1st.
Wow, wow, wow.
Well, went from a 3-horse race now down to a 2-horse race as Bronson Stafford, Evan Coleman, they're not racing for the lead. It's Braxton Deweese. He is too damaged to even have a shot to run up front now.
Well, he was in it, but not anymore.
I mean, that has to be so demoralizing. I know the Deweese family that watch week in and week out, I know they're frustrated. Fan favorite gets caught up with lap traffic. And luckily for Deweese, he's got a big enough lead over the rest of the field that he's not going to be too concerned about being removed out of this, a chance to win for this race, because Bronson Stafford should move in and take Tom Bourne's spot. And Logan Brakey, he needs to pass Braxton Deweese and hope Deweese is about 7 positions back from that of the 29, which does not look like it is going to be possible with the pace that the 15 has. So Deweese, yes, he's got to be frustrated and mad that a win is now stripped away from him, but the playoffs still looking open for himself.
Stafford is out in front. This man was below the cutoff in 5th, but there was actually 6 points both back behind making the top 4 in the championship 4. And Stafford is doing any and everything he can to get this, to make it happen. And right now, another unscheduled pit stop. That's Logan Brakey, 29, on the pit lane.
Yeah, Logan Brakey into the pits, the same as Matt Dyer. Mike Tellier, after having contact with the Weiss, he pulls it into pit road. But both those drivers were about a lap and a half short, not feeling like they had the draft to try to save enough fuel to make it to the end, so they had to make this pit stop. Another driver we're waiting for would be that of Trenton Jump, who made his pit stop around the same time that Stafford and those other drivers did, so he should be good to make it. Everyone that's out here, they should be all right. Only driver I might be slightly concerned about could be the driver in 4th place. That's Joshua Altice.
Three wide, Brakey in the middle between Bourne and Altus. Under 10 laps to go here at Michigan. Out in front is Stafford in the 61 machine.
Oh boy, for the lead right now, Evan Coleman's got a friend behind him, other teammate of CDM Motorsports, Matt Dyer. He's got fresher tires, and most likely will try to stay behind these guys and try to help the 51 with the draft to try to figure out a game plan on how to get by Bronson Stafford to get the win. Matt Dyer just looming and waiting. He's got fresher rubber. I know that he could try to make this pass, but he is damaged. That could be a reason why we're not seeing the 88 try to make the pass on the outside.
I was thinking the same thing. And again, they might just be playing possum.
I mean, it could be. Bronson Stafford already going over the radio, just trying to give the notification, hey, Dyer, you're on fresher tires, take off. But, I mean, when you got teammates that can try to utilize the draft and manipulate the draft for the 51's favor, why not work together? I mean, Dyer is 2 laps down. Even if he gets himself down to 1 lap down, he's not close enough to make the pass. So help your teammate in this opportunity and just understand, hey, got to be off the throttle a little bit longer to save those tires and also make sure you're not running over the leaders. Also, Mike Tellier has parked it to try to get repairs done. Not going to work out. Tom Bourne, who's still out there on track, that's another position for the 54 team. But he's going to need to have Braxton DeWeese or have more issues, or even that of Bronson Stafford to wreck out, or Logan Brakey. It is not looking good for the 54 team, who, again, early on, taken out of this race.
Coleman to the lead on the inside of Stafford. Boy, oh boy, wasn't expected this one. 5 remaining. Stafford not backing down. He's up on the outside lane, and your brothers in the lap cars are picking that battle as well into 1.
Yeah, 88's going to be trying to work and help the 51 on these stretches, and it's worked out. Evan Coleman out to the lead. And the question is, what will Dyer do? Is he just going to continue to wait behind or pressure that of Bronson Stafford to make him lose ground to Evan Coleman here? 5 laps to go. Anything's possible here. Still looming over the head is a chance of a caution possibly, as there are groups that are still right on top of one another. But the battle for the lead is between Evan Coleman and Bronson Stafford as they come to 4 laps to go.
Boy, oh boy, starting to get a little good here down the stretch. Well, watch them as they go into 3. It's down to 2 cars in the lap machine. Matt Dyer, who is in 12th, several laps down, but he's right around this battle with the leaders of Coleman and Stafford.
Yeah, I mean, Dyer's got the fresher tires. I'm wondering if possible Dyer could try to split it, but here comes Bronson Stafford to the inside. Ahead of steam and got the momentum. Will the slide job work, though? Ooh, he wasn't close there. Almost did exactly what we saw Mike Tellier do to Braxton DeWeese. Not clearing up, but the 51 still runs high as here comes Stafford once again low. He'll try to duck it to the yellow line. Oh, he's going to be pushing Coleman even higher. Ooh, that's opposite from a pinch. It's kind of just shoving the driver on the high side to stay high, losing ground. But Dyer, once again, the draft partner for Evan Coleman, as they're still side by side down the backstretch.
Three laps to go. It'll be 2 to go this time by as Stafford drifts up in front of Coleman with the crossover down to the inside. And they work their way back to start finish side by side. Coleman going back to the lead. They flip-flop back and forth as they work their way back to the corner and 2 to go and 1.
Well, if you wanted to see how close 1/1000th of a second is to come across the line, Bronson Stafford led that last lap. It's just enough. It's less than an inch, but it might be enough for Bronson Stafford to get the win. He's trying to set up here as they're entering 3 and 4, setting up for the white flag.
Coming to the CRN 1 to go, this time by side lap car in the middle, pulling up, Dyer to the inside, CRN 1 to go, 1 more lap remaining, Stafford, Coleman, up the racetrack goes Stafford, Coleman back to the bottom one more time in Michigan in turn 1.
I mean, contact made as they were coming out of 4. Bronson Stafford drifts up. Here comes Coleman drifting up, giving a run possibly for Stafford for the crossover move, but just doesn't have the space.
Down the back straightaway, into the corner, into 3. Look at now, another lap car. Logan Brakey coming into this battle now. 2 lap cars in the way. And while that goes on, Stafford pulling up. Coleman up against the wall. It looks like they're trying to corner each other. Coleman's got the momentum. He's on the outside. He'll win. Coleman will win over Bronson Stafford using the outside lane and 2 lap cars as a pick. Are you kidding me?
It was like
over.
It was a 3v1. Bronson Stafford never got any help from the lap cars around him as Logan Brakey came flying through. Dyer understood, hey, it's a white flag. I'm not going to be affecting this anymore. I've already set my teammate up, but it's Logan Brakey coming out of nowhere, practically shoving Evan Coleman to the win there.
Wow, wow, wow. Evan Coleman is your winner here at Michigan. And what does that do? Does that put him in the playoffs now?
Well, if this was the end of the regular season, I would say yes, it would put him in. But
well,
because
he's outside the yeah. Okay.
No, but this
he's way in the back. He's outside. He's eliminated. Thank you for playing. You can take checkered flag though.
Oh,
by the way, I think it's his first win of the season.
That is his first win.
It is his first win for Evan Coleman. Yes. Shut up, him. Oh, hey, for everyone else that's celebrating, to go. What is your brother doing? What is Matt Dyer doing, Samuel?
They're just doing the tango. They've been doing the tango. Now going to be adding this the other CEM Motorsports driver, as that's going to be Caleb Smith.
This is the tango. This is the hello, Megatron. Let's tango.
They're deciding who's going to be a bumper to bumper and doing the
all
burnouts.
right. Well, I guess Dyer got eliminated.
Oh man!
Oh, wow! He's like, "Are you gonna go? Are you gonna go? No, I'll go. Okay, you go." Oh.
Man.
Unofficial results here from Michigan. Coleman wins 68 hundredths of a second at the line. Bronson Stafford, second spot. Third, Paxton Deweese, Joshua Altus, Shane Therian, top 5. Kenny, Jump, Brakey, Smith, Johnson, your top 10. 7 cars on the lead lap.
Then it's going to be Alex Walter, Matt Dyer, as those drivers finish out this race. Eric Stamp really heavily damaged as they'll finish it out. And then the drivers that were not able to finish out this race, that of Mike Tellier, Stewksbury, Spencer Hardison, and Tom Bourne in 14th. He did not make it into our championship 4 with him being involved in that wreck so early on in this race.
There you go. There's the full field rundown. Quick break. When we come back, we'll have a very quick post-race wrap-up, and we will talk to Evan Coleman, the upset winner here at Michigan, and we will find out who are the 4 drivers that will battle it out in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or maybe a month for the championship of the Adrenaline iRacing League. We're back from Michigan in a moment. Back to coverage of the Adrenaline iRacing League here from Michigan. Boy, what an exciting race it was when it's all said and done. Evan Coleman comes out of nowhere with like under 10 laps to go, battles with a great battle with Bronson Stafford and picks up his first win of the season. I think Bronson Stafford did what he needs to do to advance to the championship 4. We will tally all of that up here in a minute, but first let's go now to the driver in the runner-up position, Bronson Stafford. Braxton DeWeese not available for comment, I don't believe at this time, but man, do you think you did all you could to make it into the championship 4 at Atlanta, whether it's in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, into the summer? Do you feel like you've earned the right to race for the championship 4? And a good job here at Michigan for second.
Yeah, I came to the race tied with Breaky just outside of the top 4, like against 6 points back on Tom, Braxton, and Shane, who were all tied. So the goal was literally get pole, lead as many laps as possible, try and win the race. Did everything except win the race, but second is damn good. Tom had an unfortunate night, so I know I'm in the final 4 based off of that, being 6 points back, and he finished outside the top 10. So it feels nice back in the final 4 after last season. Can actually get some redemption for a championship race, hopefully. But it sucks for Tom. Didn't really even get a chance to try and defend the spot or anything. But we did enough.
Yeah, I mean, Bronson, both yourself and Evan Coleman were working together trying to catch up to Braxton DeWeese, and then you saw DeWeese having issues, easily giving you guys the front 2 positions. But how much did that affect you guys trying to run down the 15 and using up those tires, and then after you passed them, trying to hold off Evan Coleman?
Yeah, the goal, pretty much the 2 full green flag runs we did with green flag stops and everything, we were just kind of all working together. A lot of the Toyotas, like myself, Evan, Kenny, and Shane. Shane messed up on the first stop. Kenny had an issue with Altis, so it was just kind of Evan and I. And, we came out of pit road about 4.5 seconds off Braxton. It was just like, hey, we'll stay in line, just, use the bubble, draft up. And we got to like a second within, and Braxton had the issue. So we honestly, tires were okay. It's such a draft track. It was so one-grooved. You got to the outside, you could pass someone pretty easily. And Evan was just in like the perfect spot to do it with a couple laps to go, and ultimately getting a huge shove from Breaky, it gave him the edge.
All right, man. Thank your sponsors, and you do go to the postseason for the championship.
Don't really got any on the car right now. Just kind of, you guys at LSRTV for coming on board the rest of the season and doing the work that you guys do. It's it's always fun to watch back and chat up with you guys most of the time. So looking forward to one more good solid week, hopefully in the league, and see what happens next season.
All right, that's Bronson Stafford again in his 61 Toyota. He was out of the cutoff in 5th, but with his hard efforts and work, I believe he is one of those drivers unofficially that will punch his ticket in to the championship 4 at Atlanta. And right now, we want to go now to, by the way, it is official. It looks like it is official now. Bronson Stafford, you have made it in the number 4 spot. Bronson Stafford is in the playoffs championship race at Atlanta. To victory lane we go. Man, oh man, Evan Coleman, first win of the year. I know you're not in running for the championship at Atlanta, but man, this has got to be a special win for you. Congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, I just came in. I left really early on, and then I came back last week at Las Vegas and got top 10, something like that. And then
right,
I'm just here, I'm really just here logging laps, trying to get better, with my, peers and all that. And then this race I knew was going to be quite boring, so I was just trying to keep the car clean. It was just keeping the car clean, not avoiding everything, just slow as fast kind of thing, save gas under, with all this immense draft. This is like the first time I raced this track in forever. And then seeing how good the draft was, I was just like, oh, I'll just, save my tires and then use it when I need it, like I did, here in the last, 5 laps or so.
Yeah, I mean, Evan, you did what was needed, and we saw that Matt, he had the fresher tires and was trying to set you up, utilizing, kind of felt like it was a 2v1 out there with the CM Motorsports against Bronson Stafford. But then at the end, we saw Logan Brakey come out of nowhere. From your point of view, when you saw that Logan Brakey come out of nowhere, what was your reaction when you saw that driver flying into your mirror?
At first, I thought I was going to get wrecked, because those fresh tires were coming up so fast, and then I saw I was pulling on the 61. I was like, oh snap, I'm about to win this thing. Holy, here we go. But yeah, it was like, even when Matt was, I was like, I kind of got blessed, I got, good cars decked in my hands. I would love to see what it been, if it was just me and Bronson side by side for the last 5 laps, who would have came out, because I was saving tires the whole time, and he was doing everything to save his tires, but still go fast enough to where he wasn't get past. But, sometimes you just get those aces in your hand and you got to use them, even though, you don't want to.
Well, Evan, before we let you go, buddy, thank your sponsors. Congratulations to you.
Yeah, Mr. Clean, Mr. Matt Dyer, Kathy Smith, a.k.a. Caleb Smith, Team Realtree, Rowdy Energy, Appalachian Hauler Hunters, all those guys over there, Christian Gardner, all of them. Really nice to get them a win. I think this is the first time I got a win for them, and I just started running the car not too long ago, so it's really nice to put that there.
And remember, Evan Coleman competes every Wednesday night in the S&B Cup Series, presented by the Appalachian Hauler Hunters on LSRTV as well. Evan, enjoy this one, bud. Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it. Samuel, your final thoughts, buddy, as we wrap it up here at Michigan.
I mean, it's going to be a dogfight. 200 laps at Atlanta. When we go there, it's going to be between that of Trenton Jump, Braxton DeWeese, Shane Terrian, and Bronson Stafford, your top 4 that are battling for a championship. It's no longer about points. It's mattering on where you finish.
4 drivers for the championship at Atlanta: Trenton Jump, Braxton DeWeese, Shane Terrian, and Bronson Stafford. And we will have it for you on LSRTV, whether it be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month from now, from Atlanta, the final race in the Adrenaline iRacing League here this evening. For Jeff Stabnow, everybody at Rocket Media, for Charles Wooten, for Samuel Dyer, I'm Wesley Outland. Congratulations again to Evan Coleman. Stick around later on tonight. We're dirt track racing back again on your home for sim racing, LSR TV. Be good to one another and having a good time. Thanks for watching.